everybody.
Evening. How's everybody doing?
I'm all right.
All
Yourself?
good here. Just have a look, see if we've actually got anybody in the comments. Is anybody in yet? We got the usual crowd. We got the usual crowd in here. Shane Gibson, Nasty Clothes, Tracy Hagan.
We've got John
Vinny
Besting.
saying it'll be with us shortly.
Ooh.
And he even said it twice, just to emphasise it.
That
Nick.
Through.
How you doing, Nick? NG Vapes. Nick. Ryan, how we doing, brother? Just having a quick scroll through. Ross.
Oh, no, that would be Josh that wrote that. Even though we'll be with you shortly.
Yeah, I wrote that earlier.
Ah, right, okay. Did you write that as Vinny as well?
Because I write it from the StreamYard account. It comes up as all three of those.
Right, got you. Okay.
So it thinks I'm Vinny. And there's no
God.
way to adjust it. It's really annoying.
That's a lot of Vinny.
Yeah, that is a lot of Vinny.
Too much Vinny. Too much Vinny. How is everybody tonight? Anybody? Anyway, anybody?
Anybody? Everybody.
This
is a bit quiet.
Everybody's been having technical issues with gear and everything in general. So hence why we're late and a bit disorganised.
But then what do we expect?
Nothing wants to fucking work, man.
Josh has got some serious hat hair going on there.
I know, man.
Mr. Bean hat hair.
I know. I don't think it helps.
Looked like he got a comb over, man.
I don't think it helps that I decided to have a shave. Like, I just thought, fuck it. Beard went.
I know, this is due to come off as well. It's got to go.
Now I look more like Jonah Hill than I usually do.
You look more like Jonah Hill than Jonah Hill.
It's healthy, man.
You actually do now, though, because he looks quite different to what he used to.
Mm-hmm.
In all fairness, he looks very different. Like with the weight loss and everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely heavier than him now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he did to lose that amount of weight, but either way, whatever he did, fair play, because
he got really fed up of being fucking bullied and slated in Hollywood. Fucking people used to bully the shit out of him.
Well, they didn't take him seriously either, you know, because he was kind of always the fat geeky kid in the movies that got the, do you know what I mean, like the blunt end of all the jokes, like, you know.
But like the thing is, people forget that he writes all that shit, like Superbad. That's all his. Like like in what's the one that we always fucking quote? Fuck me, terrible memory today.
Jump Street.
Jump Street. Yeah, I know that was a copy.
Yes.
I know it was a copy, but he ripped both of those.
Yeah.
You know, so like people forget how fucking funny he actually is.
Yeah, he's hilarious. A lot like Seth Rogen, like, you know, he writes himself as these dorky sort of characters on purpose because he's quite good at playing them. So, you know, it's one of them things. I actually love Jonah Hill. I think the first movie I really saw him in was Nana's Boy. It's like it's written by Adam Sandler, isn't it? It's just not got him in it. It's basically a Happy Madison movie, but it's just not got Adam Sandler in it. Anyway.
Before you go on your usual...
Yeah, no, we just got off on just talking, man. It's a chat show. What do you want us to do?
It is a chat show.
James Twiddle our thumbs.
Yeah. Maybe we'll try and get Jonah on. See his stance on vaping.
Yeah, I think Jonah would be pro vaping myself.
Yeah, man, Jonah would definitely be pro vaping.
Yeah, he would. He definitely would be pro vaping. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of celebrities that are pro vaping, you know, but they won't come out and say it because of the bad press that it's getting at the moment. Mm-hmm. I mean, like Samuel L. Jackson, Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's quite a few of them actually that have been vaping for a while. I mean,
DiCaprio.
Yes, Leo vapes. Yeah, I think a lot of them do. You know, like it's funny watching Arnold. You have a vape. It's like a cigar. The way you like, it's like.
Well, I was saying, what was I earlier on? I got up earlier and I woke up. I went out last night, had a few beers. I won't go into too much detail there. Ended up having a nice blazing row with the wife, and I was up ridiculously early. I woke up at like 6, like feeling like crap. So I thought I'll finish watching The Boys series 2.
Oh, it's awesome.
So And I've noticed that in quite a few of the scenes in that, Queen Maeve, she's vaping, and you can see how she gets more and more angry. She actually goes back to smoking.
Yeah.
But she's vaping in quite a lot of the scenes, which is quite funny to see. So
I actually love The Boys. I think it's absolutely awesome, and William Butcher's my fucking hero.
The only thing about William Butcher that I can't understand, that I can't get is he's supposed to be English, but
his misuse of slang is hilarious.
He's supposed to be English, and obviously Carl Urban's obviously from New Zealand, and he slips back into his New Zealand accent all the time.
It's not just that. I mean, it's like when he uses like English sort of slang, he goes, "Yeah, I almost lost my bottle there." And what he actually meant was he almost lost his temper, which is the opposite to losing your bottle. And it's just like, it's. I think they do it on purpose because it's just like a funny thing for them to just get everything wrong. But he does say cunt all the time, which is quite accurate for a British accent.
Yes. I think it's one of our favourite words.
Enjoy that break, mate. Andy gets that with making coils. Look at him with his cup.
Yeah.
Look at him with his cup of Charlotte.
That's coffee.
Coffee.
Yes, Nick, I am. Just a little glass.
Bit of Lavazza. Can't beat it. But yeah.
John Smith's.
Nasty coils. Do you get the vibration issues with in your hands? Do you ever build so much that you wake up the next day and you've got like claw hand where your hands just literally seize up?
Like both hands looking like Jeremy Beadle's left hand.
Well,
or the butler out of Scary Movie.
Before I got the what you call it? Before I got the Fordham Jeweller's drill, doing the big long runs of decor, holding the drill so far away and keeping the trigger held in, while Clapton in right the way down here. That wasn't fun. I felt like I was being crucified. I was like stretched out like that. But the Jeweller's drill, I'm just doing a meter of Clapton in a minute.
That's why I couldn't build, because my hands were fucked anyway.
My hands are mashed up as well, mate. But
back from when I left school and I went straight into scaffolding, and they used to make me do all sorts of shit in the yard because I was the new boy. Do you know what I mean? So I'd be there at like 5 a.m, breaking up the racks of 21-foot fucking poles because they're iced together. And then we've just had 2,000 boards delivered, but the boards come blank and they need metal ending on, so you have to hammer all the metal ending in, then you have to fucking paint all the boards.
And you have to paint the metal endings for the colour of your scaffolding company as well.
And all the poles.
Yeah, that will have to be dabbed, so they don't get stolen, which they always do anyway. It's the clips that mainly get stolen.
Yeah, the clips, the fixings,
yeah.
They're expensive.
Yeah. I hated scaffolding, I've got to say it. That wasn't a job for me.
I'll tell you what, mate, it's... a lot of the scaffolders I used to know... Sorry, we're completely off topic again, but I know a lot of scaffolders. It's quite a common job in my family. And they're like, in the summer, it's one of the best jobs in the world. You know what I mean? Like, fucking shirt off, sunshine. Yeah, you do a hard day's graft, but if you're a good scaffolder, you earn fucking good money, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Same as roofing.
Some of these guys are on £350, £400 a day. Do you know what I mean? Because they're so good at what they do.
Well, it's like roofing. Nobody wants to do it, but the money's that good for it that the people will do it. It's literally roofing and scaffolding have got to be the shittest jobs on in the build. Like, do you know what I mean? As in, you're always outside, you're always in the weather. Whether it's burning hot sun or the rain beating down on you, either one, too much of either is no good. Slating in
the winter, banging job, because it's literally you're welding right, so you got all that heat keeping you warm. In the summer, it's murder. It was the worst thing.
Scaffolding was fine in the winter because you warm up. It was when it was raining. Fucking pissing down with rain, that's horrible.
Like roofers, you don't really stop in the rain. Scaffolders don't stop for the rain. It's just one of them things. It's like with roofing, you can slate and tile in the rain, so you do. It's not it's not one of them jobs that's for fair weather, which is why you get a lot of builders. They do outside work in the summer, inside work in the winter. That's the way they try and balance out their jobs, but it doesn't.
Shawnee, I'm going to be messaging you soon because you like some quite individual, unusual setups, and I'm changing my style up a little bit. So I almost pulled the trigger on a Vicious Ant Primo earlier.
Nice.
Someone had one up for sale, but I was like, "Oh, it's too much money." It's beautiful.
Wait until you've shifted a few of your other mods first.
Yeah, I will be. I'm surprised we're not joined by Mr. Paul this evening, Mr. Ataku.
Yeah.
Lippy's just said he'll be with us soon as well. Just sorting the kids out. I wonder if we can get a full 6 of us this week.
I doubt it.
I doubt it, mate. I doubt it. But anyway, how is everybody in the chat, guys? Sorry, we went off on a right tangent there.
Yeah, we do our usual.
Like, I don't get why as well, because we literally talk all fucking week every day in the chat.
Yeah.
But, and actually, quite often, quite a lot of us will just phone each other during the week and have a chat anyway. So it just gets a bit like that sometimes, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
you mean you call each other? Nobody ever calls me. But then again, I don't blame them.
Anyway, I think this week we're not actually going to do What Are We Vaping unless anyone's got anything actually new to show.
No.
No.
I think it's a segment that we're actually just going to stop unless someone's got something new and interesting to talk about, because
it's just a waste of time, really. You know what we all vape. I mean,
we share the same setups.
The only thing that's different from me is I just found a bottle of the Blue Watch that I had sat in the back of the cupboard.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that with the juice. I'm back on the lemon from the King's Cream, which I absolutely love, and back on my Ultimate Puff oatmeal and raisin. Devices are immortal.
I'm on some Ultimate Puff as well. I'm on some Red Velvet Cookie.
What is that like?
It's really good, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about pulling the trigger on some of that, but I've got to buy quite a few bottles to make it worthwhile.
And I've got to get you a bottle of this as well. I think Matty's going to sort you out a bottle of the Fresh Vape Co-Urban Avenue.
Yeah, I've been looking at that one, Josh.
I think everybody in LXV would hands down say this is a very good juice.
Yeah, is that the one that I think Matty sent me a bottle? He sent me a bottle of the Ultimate Raspberry or black something. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember.
This is the Blue Raz and Grape, the Urban Avenue. This is the one that me and Matty were banging on about, and I've been for a few bottles of this, and it's still.
Yeah, he sent me a bottle of something. Yeah, I'm just getting.
Yeah, Nick, this is the GTA juice, as we'll call it. I mean, it's going to get a name, isn't it? Because it is literally just a rip-off of GTA. But actually, like, you would look at that bottle and I'd maybe think, oh, is that a cheap... Like, it looks... Is it more about the branding than it is about the juice quality? But actually, the juice is awesome. I've tried a few of them.
Yeah, I am actually thinking of trying that. Sound that King's Custard, caramel custard.
Oh, the King's Custard's phenomenal.
Yeah, because we were discussing that the other night. And it's
that's a King's Cream. So the Kings, they've got like 9 different flavours between the King's Cream and the King's Custard, and then they've got Off the Rails, which is a cheesecake.
Thanks, Matty.
So, yeah, thanks, matey, mate. I'm really looking forward to trying that, to be honest. Can't wait.
I've got to say, the Purple District's really good as well. I've got a bottle of that here, which Ryan's just said the Purple District is really good. Yeah, it's around somewhere. I've moved some shit around, so everything's further away from me, which is maybe why I had technical issues earlier. Yeah.
I was just reading back Nasty Coils, like what he was saying about his hands. His hands sound as fucked up as mine. I don't know why people that have got mashed up hands decide to be coil builders.
Because you're used to working with your hands.
Yeah, I mean, I think that must be
one of them things.
Yeah,
but it's a vibration thing as well, dude.
200C press ended up killing the nerves in his hands, fingertips, getting pressure. So he's a pretty much good candidate, by the sounds of it, for Whitefinger.
I mean,
which is I've seen that in real life. Like,
I've got knuckles on the wrong side of my hand and stuff, and just like literally, I've broken every single part of both hands, all metacarpal bones, like literally smashed them up to bits over the years between rugby, being an idiot, and working on building sites and stuff, they just get smashed up. It's just one of them things.
I mean, obviously I work in retail now, and I've flitted between retail and sites and stuff like that, and I actually really enjoy site work. Last time I did site work was actually ages ago, 9 years ago, when I started at Richer Sounds. Been there ever since, but before that I did a lot of building work, and I loved it because you get the old tan, you actually get in shape because you're always fucking busy and doing stuff and working your ass off. And then I got back into retail and just put a shitload of weight on.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, I've got lumps growing next to my knuckles now. Yeah, I've got knuckles growing next to knuckles and stuff. But see, I'm sure if I worked on anything like what Sean uses to make his wooden like vape stands and stuff, I'd end up with no fingers left. I'm dangerous enough with a drill, Hello,
Paul.
Are there any subjects in particular that we're going to discuss this week? Is there anything that anybody wants to bring up or wants to talk
if
about?
I have mentioned anything, I've more than likely forgot about it already.
Right, okay.
We've been talking a bit in the chat in this week about a few bits, but this week's been a bitch. Like, I had to take the first 2 days off of work because that fucking COVID test I had to take.
Yeah.
Luckily it came back negative, so I went back.
Facebook user, please allow StreamYard to show your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul, if you want to, Josh, if you want to pull it up so we can see.
Yeah, we do come with subtitles. It is fun, and the subtitles are actually hilarious.
Yes, we have been sent some pictures of the subtitles.
There you go. Ryan's actually brought up something that we have spoke about, and we said that we were going to talk about, and it is the vape. It's the new rules that basically Ulster, Northern Ireland are going to be adopting the EU's vaping directives. So they'll be carrying on with the EU regulations, whereas in the UK we'll be having our own that are done. Yeah. So we were just wondering what people's thoughts are about that. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? What do you think, Josh?
My personal view on it at the minute is I'm a little bit nervous because obviously probably in the UK our biggest advocate for vaping safety and actually being a smoking cessation tool was Public Health England, PHE. As we all know, the government have decided to pretty much disband Public Health England. So it's one of those. I mean, I'm hoping that they still see it as a very good thing, and I suppose it's going to be really what happens with our healthcare system. If our healthcare system changes, then we could be in for a tough time. If our healthcare system stays the same, then I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, putting aside what could possibly happen to us in the UK, right? Like over on the mainland here, what are the implications for people in Northern Ireland? I mean, as TPD changes within the EU, if they do a flavour ban, then Northern Ireland will be with the same. They will have the same flavour ban. And I think that's one of the reasons. I mean, I don't want to get too political and stuff like that about it all, but this is one of the reasons that Northern Ireland was always going to be the issue with Brexit, was because of the issue of different rules between the EU and the UK, customs, them having to put up a hard border, which, there's all kinds of implications with that, and the Good Friday Agreement and blah, 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 blah. So I think that the way that they're doing it is they're making it so that you can't have in Northern Ireland where you have somebody that lives just over the border that can just literally go to a vape shop over the border into Northern Ireland and buy non-European directive products and take them back into Southern Ireland, for example. Do you get what I mean? It's like, I think that is the main reasoning behind it. I don't think there's anything else there. It's just basically with Brexit, Northern
like
Ireland
duty-free facts kind of thing. Like a lot of people do over here.
Well, yeah, no,
people just go over the board, get a shitload of it, bring it all back and sell it on for a cheaper price.
But duty-free hasn't really existed for like 15, 20 years, dude. Like, unless you're going outside the EU. Yeah, like, right, okay, so because we were in the customs union, right, we were in the trade union in Europe, right, everything in Europe was classed as domestic, right, which is why you don't pay 20% VAT on imports and stuff like that coming over. So therefore, there wasn't any duty to be paid. So you could go over to France, but if you went to France or whatever, packets of smokes are only like €1, €2 cheaper than what they would be in the UK. Mm-hmm. So there's not that much of a difference anymore. Duty free only really exists outside of Europe. But now, as we're no longer going to be part of Europe, then all of that changes. Mm-hmm. So the duty free thing could come back, but a lot of the tobacco that's sold as duty free is actually dog shit tobacco that's just relabeled as fake. Obviously it's real tobacco, but it's not Golden Virginia or whatever it's supposed to be. It's
so
sweepings off the floor
nowadays.
Yeah,
I mean, I won't name any names obviously, but I know 3 shops in Exeter that sell dodgy backy. You go in there and you let them know what you want, and they'll literally they'll come off off at the back and come back with some.
There's been loads of shops actually caught. Like there's been loads of shops caught by like things like Watchdog or whatever the modern day alternative is to it now. I mean, there's been shops that have been caught by doing that. Now, my only issue with regulations is over-regulation can push stuff underground. Mm-hmm. So when I say about the implications in Northern Ireland, what I mean is not, they're screwed, they can't buy vape juice anymore. And, they're banning imports from the UK, so we're not allowed to send anything over there anymore that's not compliant with their rules. The issue is they're still going to want their juice. They're still going to want their flavours, and they're going to buy bootlegs. And there's going to be a massive rise, in my opinion, in bathtub brew.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. Over-regulation of stuff. I mean, just look at the war on drugs. Like, the war on drugs started, in the 80s? Right? And what's got better? In fact, it's got worse. It's proven that the war on drugs has actually made it worse. So, and when you actually look at countries like Portugal that have decriminalised the use of all drugs, I mean, a lot of people probably don't know this, but Portugal actually had one of the highest HIV rates in the whole of Europe. And their country was in a complete crisis like 15 years ago. And what actually happened was they decriminalised the use of all drugs, heroin, crack cocaine, all of them type of drugs for personal use. And they made it a social issue, not a criminal issue. So obviously the selling of the drugs on the black market and such is still illegal. You can't just go into a chemist and buy drugs like this is what people think. What they did was they actually looked at now their HIV rate has gone down because people actually admit they're using drugs and this and that and the other because they're not being persecuted for it. So they'll actually go out and help.
Their crime rate's gone down as well.
Yep, massively. And it's the same as like Amsterdam. If you go to Amsterdam, you walk around the actual centre of Amsterdam, you don't see loads of homeless beggars, like all smackheads and crackheads littering around the place like you do in all the big cities in the UK. You don't see it. And
again, this is another thing, actually, in Amsterdam, like weed is actually illegal. It's just tolerated. This is what they say. So this is a very common misconception, like, oh yeah,
decriminalised.
It's actually still got quite a high, but it's just tolerated. They're like, we just tolerate it's fine. If you're being a dickhead, they're gonna fucking nick you, right? they will do it. But if you're just enjoying it and actually having a good time and not being a twat, then they'll just let everybody be. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way it should be over here, really, I think.
Yeah, so, I mean, Simon Birds, I'm just reading Simon's comments there in the chat.
I was going to put Simon's comment up, but it's so long.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit on the screen.
It wouldn't fit on the screen. But it's a really good comment.
Also, should one of us read it out? So
yeah, we have quite a few MPs who are both pro-vape and champion vaping. What I will say is when I lived over there in 2000, I lived in Belfast and drove across the border for 400 Marlborough every week. Will be the same and no one will give a damn. It will be Arctic loads that they carry. But that's the point, Simon, is the rules are going to be the same in Northern Ireland as they are Southern Ireland. So what are they going to drive? What border are they going to drive over? They're going to drive over the border to somewhere that's got the same rules. You're talking about doing it for duty free back before we went fully into the customs union, into the trade union, and when duty free still existed. That I honestly that's the whole reason why they're making Northern Ireland have the same rules as Southern Ireland, so that people can't do that. Then their only option is to either try and bring it across in a ferry or whatever from the mainland. That's literally the whole point in it, is to stop that. I mean,
they could be coming here to get stuff. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, look, I live right by the ferry ports in Wales, and I'm not far from Pembroke Dock or Fishguard. So I know a lot of people as well that do the so-called tobacco runs and go over and get stuff from Belgium and places like that. But the tobacco they're getting is literally sweepings off the floor. I think from real tobacco companies, it's not what they're supposed to be, and this is what happens with overregulation, though.
There used to be that whole thing, didn't there? Like it used to be like JPS used to be what they used to drop on the floor from Super Kings or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It was always talked about like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I smoked Benson and Hedges. I always used to make the joke with people smoking Lambert and Butlers because Lambert and Butler were that much cheaper than Bensons. They were kind of, when I was younger, they were kind of seen as like, yeah, I got the gold packet, you got the silver packet. Mm-hmm. Like, do you know what I mean? And but they done away with that with the plain packaging. Everything now is all in brown packaging, and it doesn't.
Brown or black, isn't it?
That could quite easily still happen to the vaping industry over here. They could. I mean, that could be one of the things they bring in. They could say, "Well, you can sell."
I believe it will.
But I believe it will. But you won't be allowed labels like this. It'll be a simple white label with the name of the brand, name of the juice, the name of the brand, and the ingredients on the back. That's it. I mean,
some companies are kind of using that format already. Like Vaporoni, for example, their labeling is quite clean and simple, and do you know what I mean? It's not got loads of stuff all over it. It's very much the same as Prohibition. If you look at Prohibition, you've got to really look at the bottle to try and work out what flavour it is. Yeah. So that's not got loads of pictures of custard and stuff all over it. And it's the same with Prohibition. Look, do you see what I mean? It's a very plain packaging. It's a great label. I love it and everything. But you've really got to
Heaven Haze.
Yeah, I mean, look, Chris, I'm not going to lie. That's one of the brands like that. I'm not being funny, mate. Yeah, the IP theft brands, the brands that are imitating actual other brands but just changing the name slightly. It kind of goes back to the days of that fantasy stuff that looked like Fanta, basically. Do you know what I mean? And it was like
it was fantasy, wasn't it? It was fantasy.
Yeah, it's fantasy.
There was obviously, I Love VG did it, didn't they, with Millions and all that sort of stuff, and they got in a lot of trouble for it.
Yeah, they did. I mean, nobody really gave a shit. Right, look, here's the thing, yeah. It's a lot like anything. Nobody gave a shit until they saw how much money that they were making. Now,
what was the rumour they made in their first year? Can you remember? It was a huge
it was, I think it was 16 million or was it 1.6 off the top? It was a while ago now, but yeah, their first year of trading, they netted a fucking bundle. And after that, it was the company then, they came in and they started with lawsuits, against IVG for stealing their marketing, basically, and stealing their branding, and yeah, but nobody really cared until they saw how much money they were making out of it. And they thought, oh, actually, we want a couple of % of that because it's our idea. And
they have the same. Did they have the same lawyer as as Mr. Kleiser.
Well, I mean, it's one of these.
But
yeah,
you know
I mean, every man and their dog has done fantasy. I haven't.
I haven't.
Out of all of, I have not vaped a single one of these IP theft juices. I won't buy them.
You could argue the same this though with this. I mean, is this? But this isn't vape. This isn't like it's pushed towards a particular flavour or a sweet company.
It looks like GTA.
It does.
Branding.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. It's so.
Looks like it's something you'd see in GTA itself.
I mean, look. At the end of the day, it all just depends. What do you mean, though, Simon? 5 or 6 companies still selling it, you mean? I mean, look, yeah, of course, some people still buy it, but I never have or never wanted to. Because they market. I've done so well because they marketed their product so well. Yeah, they did. Their marketing was really good. I mean, back in 2018, their stall at the expo was fucking huge. Back in May 2018, they had a huge stall, and that was just after their first year, I believe. That was just that was just, you know, they hadn't been around for long at that point.
I think it made quite a lot of us question like their background, because obviously it's like, hold on, you've come in, you've obviously got money in the first place. You aren't just you don't come in as a nobody and do that well. I hate to say that.
But no, because what they did, they didn't have to establish a brand because they were using somebody else's brand. By selling it as Bubblegum Millions, they were selling it as that. That's what it was getting sold as. So really, the marketing had already been done by the original company, and that's what the problem is. That's why they get pissed off with it. Yeah, still producing fancy range. I'm not a fan. I think I tried it once for a review. How far are you going to go? Even if they play in package like cigs, it's not going to make people actually care about the flavours again, rather than a flashy label.
No, I mean, I don't buy juice for a label. I buy juice.
I don't.
No. I try it and I like it, but there are a lot of people out there that will buy juice for a label.
You've got to think of the everyday vapor walking into a shop, right, into a vape shop, and looking behind the counter, and he's looking at a shelf that's 2-3 foot away from him, or her, right, and they're looking at it, and what are you going to look at first? Is it the juice? Is it the boxes and the bottles that stand out? Or is it the ones in the plain packaging? And this is what it's all about, really. It's not to catch online buyers. It's to catch people going in the shops, and that's what the advertising and the flashy labels and stuff are for.
I mean, this is a very proven business technique. I mean,
yeah,
a very proven business technique. Packaging can sell your product for you, even if it's shit. I'm going to point out a very big, obvious one here, and I might offend a few of you if you use their product. But Beats. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So Andy thought I was going to say Apple.
No.
But Beats, right? So their packaging and the way it's put in the box,
like,
and everything is phenomenal. But the product's is dog shit.
Yeah, it's like basically you're walking around with a set of Bose 5.1 surround sound speakers strapped to your head. Which, in case anybody doesn't know, they are basically the old Bose systems. Were the same. They're style systems, and they were designed to look nice.
It's a lifestyle product, not not
it's
an
a
all-day product.
Yeah.
So in the industry I work in, Bose is seen as we get people coming. Oh, do you sell Bose? It's like no, because we don't.
Because it's shit.
Because in the audiophile world, it's seen as dog shit. It really is, but they market very well and do this. That
aren't Bose actually owned by Apple now?
No, Beats are owned by Apple now.
Yeah, Beats are owned by Apple.
Sorry, not Bose. Beats.
Actually, the newer Beats, the later Beats ones, they're basically just the Apple iPod, the AirPods now, just with a different shell on them, basically.
Drive safe, mate. Drive safe.
Take it easy, Simon.
See you later, Simon. Take it easy.
It's the same thing. I mean, for the amount of money that Bose used to charge for a 5.1 system, you were talking like $1,000. Yeah, I'm talking like 20 years ago now, 15, 20 years ago. And when you actually open up the speaker, there's not even a crossover in it. And it's just like a basic 2.5 millimeter, 2.5.
Well, it's actually a proven technology that a few other companies have. So that type of speakers is called. I'm not going to bore you all with fucking jargon talk, but it's called a BMR driver. It's called a base mode radiator.
Yeah.
Where it has no crossover, and it's one driver doing everything.
Yeah.
Cambridge Audio, for example, they bought out a system called the Mink system, which was built to basically rival the Bose because the Bose did so well. We don't know how, but it did, and like the reviews, like the Cambridge just smashes the Bose and it's half the price because they actually put some fucking care into their product and made it right. So it can work, but Bose are just lazy. They're just lazy. Again, it's a reputation thing. People out there are like, oh great, yeah, we know Bose, we've heard of Bose. We'll buy Bose. We'll pay a lot of money for it. Yeah, crack on.
Yeah, it's not in the same sort of grade as like Acoustic Energy or Monitor Audio or so, stuff like that. It's just nowhere near it. Mm-hmm. And you could buy the most basic package from one of them companies and it'll beat the top of the line thing from Bose. That's just the way it is. But people want to buy what their friends have got and this kind of thing. And I mean that transfers over into vaping. People see a picture of M-Turk, for example, holding a Rebel mod at the expo. I wonder how many people went and bought a Rebel mod just because they saw a picture of M-Turk holding one. He's never actually publicly endorsed them or, said that they're good or anything like that. But there was a picture of him looking at one that they used then at the expo, and I bet you that sold them a load of mods.
It's the same reason reviewers get sent mods for free.
And it's the same reason that reviewers have their names put on products and stuff, because let's be honest, most reviewers haven't got a clue about designing, as in, actually making products, like on CAD and stuff like that. So, they will just offer opinions on stuff, they will just so like a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, Jay Hayes has done a mod with Rebel. I'm buying that because Jay Hayes, he's my hero. But really, he's just making a profit out of that.
See, I actually think Jay Hayes would probably have more of a clue about designing a mod than most other reviewers out there.
He does.
Yeah,
he does. Jay Hayes actually does.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've not actually tried any of his products. Like, I actually really wanted to try the Jenner, the Jenner RDA. I really wanted to try. But obviously they were so limited, and he went about it the right way. It was like, well, these are going to be really limited. They're going to be for people that want to pay for them. They're not going to be cheap, and they're going to be able to get hold of. And because of that, they went like that. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't get one for love nor money. You can buy a clone, but
yeah,
try and find a Jenner RDA because you fucking can't.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's one of them things though that. Jay Hayes loves blowing smoke up his own arse. Yeah. I mean, you can't review your own products. You can't do it. Now, when you watch Bogan does a review of a product that he's had anything in, he says this isn't a review. This is like a showcase. I'm just showing you the product. I can't review my own products. Jay Hayes actually voted his own RDA as the second best RDA in the year that it came out.
Yeah, I know.
It was when he did his top 10 RDAs of that year. Now, I mean, talk about hubris.
Because one, he isn't even saying the one that he designed is the best.
No.
And let's put it this way, right? Say someone came to me and said, right, I want you to design an RDA. I'm going to design it in a way of how I want to vape. So it's going to have quite a lot of airflow. It's going to be a dual coil. It's going to be like fucking every other RDA on the market. But I'm still going to design it how I want to vape it and how I want it to work.
And yeah, but this is one of the biggest issues that I see, right, with, for example, an RDA designed by somebody who loves 2.5 millimeter ID coils, and they make it so that that's all you can fit in it. Now, for me, that's a bit of a one-eyed way of doing things because, first of all, I can tell you now that not everybody likes 2.5 millimeter ID coils.
I hate them.
For a fact, right? Now,
all day long.
Yeah, now that is just a fact. So by making it so that it only accepts them, you're going to cut off half of your demographic straight away. So, for me...
Because of your personal preference.
Yeah, right. Look, this is where it comes across as a bit of like hubris, a bit God complex, like the way I vape is the way that everybody should vape. So that's how I'm going to... You're not designing it for yourself. You're designing it for other people, and you want to sell as many as possible. So the idea would be to make it so that it appeals to as many people across the board as possible. Hence people making 38mm RDAs that come with a squonk pin, right? Because even though there's not a squonk out there probably that would take that RDA, they're putting it on there because people would say, well, yeah, see, Nick just said it exactly there. Hate them, the only weakness in the blotto.
Yeah, I think that's what you were kind of aiming it out. Actually,
that's one of them.
2.5mm coil. You can get a 3mm in a diameter in there, but you have to really know how to build.
Hey, look, I mean, I've got like 8 coils in a Kylin, for fuck's sake. You know, it like, believe me, all kinds of crazy shit is achievable. Is it practical? You know, does it give a good vape? No. So, you know, there's something to be said there for in rebuildables, in rebuildables, right, the most common used coils are 3mm and 3.5mm for series, or for RTAs, or for, you know, DNA type mods, lipos, high powered mods, stuff like that. But 3mm is the thing. Now, I don't really know too much about the blotto. I haven't got one. I've never owned one. Now, the deck, does it allow you to put a single in it rather than 2 as well? Because this is where the fatality really won it for me, because with the fatality, you've got so many options. Mm-hmm. Like, you can put a dual 4mm build in it. You can put a dual 3.5. You can put a series build in it. You can put a 5mm single in it. Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
He's running a 5mm single in his blotto.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying now. That's what I always thought was like, right, the only way that you can get around it is by putting a single in, right, and making it bigger, because obviously 5mm, 2 times 2.5mm is going to be around about the same. So, you know, there are ways around it, but if you want to buy coils off somebody who does single 5mm coils, unless they're specifically like Jordan from Anonymous used to do for the Death Trap and stuff like that.
I was just about to say that. The only person I could think of is Jordan.
Yeah, he used to do the Death's Rap, he used to call them, I believe.
The Death Rap that was, and it was specifically made for the Death Trap. That was.
Unless you know how to build your own coils. Kind of thing. If you can build your own coils, then you can build whatever size you want.
Yeah, but 99% of vapors can't actually make their own coils.
I mean, I can only make a select few, and that's it. My knowledge of building is very limited.
I can make a jaw and a tricore Clapton if I can be fucked.
Well, I can make pretty much anything, but I don't waste my time on stupid, pointless, impractical builds that nobody really wants. Like,
you see all these coils out there. You see like Dragon coils and Mohawks and all this crap. They don't vape any better. In fact, they probably vape worse.
Yeah,
they look good in a picture. They look
good
in
a picture. How slow it is.
Has anybody seen I pronounce it Tsuka, TSUKA coils, and they've got a ribbon wire wrap. It's a staple, no frames, right? So it's just all ribbon wire. Then it's got a ribbon wire wrap that's got a twist in it.
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them.
They're called the Tsuka. Now, those I was like, when I saw them, I was like, oh my god, they look fucking awesome. So I proceeded to fuck about for ages and worked out how to build them. There wasn't really any videos at the time showing you how to build them or anything. It was a lot of trial and error. Actually messaging M-Turk about it, and he was the one that told me how to do the wrap for the right size and everything. And yeah, and then when I'd done them and I got them made, and I put one in an RDA, put a build in an RDA and everything, I had about 5 hits of it, took them out and threw them in the fucking bin. It was just the most hot, horrible vape that I've ever had, because it's all ribbon wire. It was just spit back and heat. It was just not an enjoyable experience at all. Them type of builds are for pictures. on Instagram. Like literally, that's all the use they have for them. You know,
it's for a builder going, look, I've made this, I can make this, I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but most people look build and sell coils. They can make all of them builds because really, once you get to a certain point, there's not really a lot of difference in doing stuff. I mean, them Tsuka, for example, are very, very easy. All you got to do is just get your wrap and twist it in a drill until the twist is the width of the stack. That's it. And then it goes on. It just wraps itself like an alien coil does. It's just, yeah, it's not exactly a difficult thing. Fused, tricore fused, aliens, and braids. I mean, wife's
Sorry to
terrible
hear that,
spit
God.
back.
But braids are a coil that I've never really experimented with, and I don't see the point.
Braids have got amazing flavour. They really have. Like, but you've got to be using very, very fine gauge wire for braids to make them have. Do you know what I mean? To get that great flavour. You know, like, but much like anything, it's very few people that actually want to buy them.
I mean, most people out there are buying Claptons, aliens, Fralians, maybe the odd, you know what I like, Andy. I mean, actually, I like staples and I like frame staples. I think frame staples are one of the best coils for flavour out there. But your 14-ply staples are godlike.
Yeah, now, right, okay, so the difference between a frame staple and a staple is literally you've got 2 round wire core wires on the end, either end. Now, the only reason that they don't do anything for the actual build or anything like that. Staples are a bastard to wrap. There's no, if you go a little bit too far when you're actually making them into coils, there's no turning back. You can't just slightly undo it. All the ribbon wire starts twisting and bending all over the place. The frames actually circumvent that. So that's the only reason that the frames are on there. So I'd rather have all of it to be ribbon wire myself. You know, that's how I prefer it. But a lot of people are like, yeah, frame staples. So I make them, and I'm done with convincing people what I believe is the better coil because it's just personal choice.
I mean, I don't think you'll see this, but I mean, Andy's obviously seen it because he sent me these coils. But I mean, yeah, it's not going to focus on that. It's going to be far too small. But that's one of your staples. I'm saving these for when I really want them. But they're one of the best builds I've ever used, and they're probably my go-to build every time.
I love them. See, look, now for me, Ryan, I don't really like the Juggernauts that much because, again, a lot of spitback. That's just how I've always found them. Now, in RTAs and stuff, Juggernauts actually can work quite well in an RTA because you've got that bit of protection from the chimney. Yeah, so you've got that bit of a chimney. You've got the chimney inside that actually, and the domed topless above the coils that'll stop a lot of that spitback. Yeah, so you know, in that case, I'll be right. But again, I never get asked to make Juggernauts. Never. Literally, fused Claptons. Some do ask for them, not a lot though. I'll be honest. It's mainly aliens, Fralians, staples, frame staples.
But the thing is, this goes back. I actually use quite a lot of your Claptons.
I'd rather have a few of your fused Claptons.
And we go with this. We say this quite a lot. I mean, if there's somebody out there, if you could give them an identical mod, identical build, identical juice, identical RDA, and one had a fused Clapton in it and one had an alien in it, they would not be able to tell you which one was which.
No. They wouldn't have the foggiest. I'll be honest with you. A 24 gauge fused Clapton with a 40 gauge wrap is a pretty good build.
I mean, that's what's in here. This is your standard fused Clapton. This is a massive RDA. I mean,
and they're tiny.
They're tiny in there. It's not going to focus because fucking my lighting shit. But they're tiny in there. But I tell you what, I mean, and this battery's been used a bit, so it's not super fresh. But
again, though, Nick, see with interlocking aliens, Yeah. I mean, with interlocking aliens, they are, again, like, I personally can't tell any difference between a normal alien, a stitched alien, an interlocking alien, or any. I can't tell the difference. Yeah, mine don't, mate. I don't know. I think that's why it's all about finding the right balance, and it will depend on what wire you use as well to that balance. You know, like for me, I use I have a 6-ply wrap, 0.4 ribbon wire. So I do a 6-ply with 28 gauge frames, and then a 40 gauge wrap. 3mm wraps is around about 0.08, and then the 5 wrap are about 0.1. In fact,
what do those 14 plies come out? They're low, aren't they?
Yeah, 0.7, 0.65, a 4 wrap, 0.9, 0.1 as a 5. They aren't for the faint-hearted. The 4 wraps aren't. That's for sure.
I love them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love them. I mean, look, I've been vaping on this for a while, but like that's the you have to excuse my shaky hands. That's the frame staples. I mean, yeah, look. That's like I've been vaping on this for a couple of hours now, and the battery's pretty dead.
It's just fucking.
Yeah.
It's just instant.
Now,
just so you
frames
push.
Yeah, I mean, if I put a fresh battery in there, it'd be exactly the same. You know, it'd be exactly the same, really. I mean,
and the thing is, I suppose there's different
these
coils.
Ones are your aliens, and
because everybody's different. I mean, everybody likes
everybody
vaping,
likes different stuff. I mean, right. So Danny from Cloud Island, he prefers 24 gauge, 2.5mm fuse captain. That's his preferred build. Do you know what I mean? He says he can't tell any difference from them to aliens to staples to whatever. Now, for me, frame staples are more of a flavour build than they are a cloud chasing build. But the 14-ply 4 wraps, they produce some fucking clouds. You know, like literally, you don't want to be using them in a 25mm RDA. They're too much.
Oh, well, that's what I use them in. I'll put them in an apocalypse. I'll tell you what. I'll put them in an apocalypse for next week.
I do it. I've got sets in with the cloud caps on though. Like, you know, just to try and calm it down a little bit. But yeah.
An apocalypse, full bore airflow. I mean, to be honest, that's how I always vape an apocalypse. It's I mean, this at the minute that's got airflow wide open.
Yeah, so all of mine are airflow wide open on both of the RDAs. I've got
slightly closed off, but not by a fat lot.
I mean, this ultimate puff that's the only thing with it is that
it's a cotton colour, isn't it? It's a bit of a cotton killer.
Yeah, it does. It makes your cotton look like someone shat on it. I mean, but
that's when you know it's good juice.
But it's so full of flavour. Is just really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I used to use I stick to 20 gauge round wire builds. Fair enough. When I started vaping, it was round wire, and then actually I quite quickly switched to flat wire. I used to quite like a flat wire build.
Yeah, I mean
20 gauge, 21 gauge flat wire. I used to love 21 gauge flat wire.
They actually use I don't know who flat wire use now, but they did. It was just Crazy Wire rebranded for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know who they use anymore. I know they changed at some point. But like I say, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think
Crazy Wire exists anymore, do they?
Crazy Wire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do.
I heard rumours that they went under.
Yeah, they were. Right.
All Googling away.
Yeah, no, they're still there. Crazy wire and stuff. Like, yeah, Nichrome stainless steel.
I mean, Crazy Wire, I bought some Crazy Wire when I first started vaping to try and learn to build because it was cheap. Do you know what I mean?
It's harder to build on Crazy Wire than it is on Kidney Puncher because everything sticks and it's not as clean and it's not smooth.
It's not clean wires. It's horrible to hold. You run it through your fingers when you make it, and like, your fingers black by the time. Do you know what I mean? It's not clean wire.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was having a discussion with them guys before about N90. In that private chat, we were talking about it. And indeed, are having a closing down sale, are they? Let's have a look. I'm just looking clearance.
Is that Crazy Wire that's having a...
Or is it Flat Wire? Or is it Flat Wire that's having a clearing out sale? Because I'm on the Crazy Wire site and everything's on sale anyway, but it always is.
Yeah. They just seem to be one of them companies. They just have a sale on everything.
Yeah, they're like DFS, man.
Yeah.
Constant sale.
No, I'm just having a look, actually. They've got no N80 ribbon wire. I mean, look, I think it's one of them things with Crazy Wire.
That wire's coming from China, and it's not easy to get.
I don't know.
China at the minute.
I don't know. I don't know where it came from.
Sean just said that he'd bought some alien wire from them, turned up, and apparently it was fused Clapton.
Yeah, they basically they were calling an alien Clapton. It was just flat wire with a ribbon with a 40 with a wrap on it. It was just Flapton. Is what it was. They used to sell it in the pre-made. Yeah, I mean, Flapton. Like, is the whole thing going under? Is wire and stuff? Because like Crazy Wire's a side business to wire and stuff, because they provide wire to loads of different other industries. Crazy Wire are shutting down. They're just selling everything off, from what I know. See, I haven't used Crazy Wire for a few years now myself, so I wouldn't know. Like, if you're going to buy wire in the UK and you don't want to spend out on Twisted Messes or Kidney Puncher, if you can even find it anywhere in the UK, then Juice Junkie's probably the best quality that I've found so far that's available in the UK constantly. I don't use it myself. Right, there you go. That makes sense. That makes more sense to me now, Ryan, is that they're stopping. And the pre-made coils, the Chinese pre-made coils that come in the packs with the little green labels on eBay. Do you remember them old coils? I've got fucking sacks of them somewhere from when I used to have my old eBay shop. And their alien Clapton was literally Flapton. That's all it was, and they are absolutely dog shit. Yeah, unfortunately, Aaron, I mean, they're pre-made coils. Who's having a sale? Crazy Wire or
Aaron D? Who's actually having a sale?
Either someone's burning something or Chris is about to have a heart attack. One of the two.
Yeah, I was going to say the majority. The coilology, like they've got a lot of coilology pre-mades on here, which coilology, unless coilology are making them in particular for Crazy Wire, coilology always use Twisted Messes in their any builds of round wire previously, because for a while they started doing things like selling Fralians on bulk spools and stuff, and all the builders in the world were kind of crying because it was like, fuck, like, what's going on here. But I'm just having a look now at these. Let's have a look. Jesus Christ. Coilology, pre-made stainless steel, staggered fuse Clapton, 2-pack, £2.50. Due to rising commitments from our other markets, there we go, look. It's what it says. Due to rising commitments from our other markets, we're taking decision to cease stocking this product by April 2020. We pride ourselves on our ability to source stocks at the best price and the best quality. Now is a chance to take advantage of that effort, as all clearance items are available here at cost. That means you will pay what we have paid for this stock. So everything they're selling on there at the moment is actually dirt, very, very cheap. I'm actually quite surprised at the prices that they're selling the coils at. But I'm a bit confused there with coilology, because coilology, unless, like I say, they actually started using making them specifically for crazy wire, then they would be made from twisted messes, the nichrome ones would, because that's what their spools of pre-made used to be made of. Again, don't know if that's changed. I don't really keep up with what other coil builders and stuff are doing, really. I think it's funny when I watch things happen, like 4 cores, like Wraps brought out 4 cores, and suddenly everybody started doing 4 cores again, you know. And I noticed this trend starts happening. One builder will start doing something, then all the other builders stop.
We'll start doing it, yeah.
Yeah, all the other builders.
I'm just happy with the Aliens and Fused Claptons, to be honest.
Yeah,
they give me the flavour I'm after. I mean, in some mods, the Aliens work better than the Fused Claptons, and vice versa. It's just a personal preference kind of thing. It's just what I find better. I mean, there are times.
I don't think I could personally tell a difference between a Clapton and an Alien in any situation.
No, not if it's the same resistance, same juice, same cotton, same RDA.
I agree.
I bet that if you blind tested, people, a lot of people would either say I can't say, or they'd get it wrong.
I couldn't tell you if I was using Fused Claptons or Aliens in this, within my fatality, and then both from you.
Don't get me wrong, right? If I pick up a mod that's got a set of the 14 plies in it, I know it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's certain builds that you fucking know. I mean, like, for Aliens, I can sort of tell they're a little bit hotter than Aliens. A little bit. There's a little bit more heat to them than Aliens because of the ribbon wire core. You've got a ribbon wire stack in there, so you'll actually get a bit more heat because that's just the way that ribbon wire behaves. I've noticed as well, a lot of builders are using stainless steel for fucking mech builds again, and I'm just like, why?
I cannot stand stainless steel.
It's not right. Okay, it's not about whether I think it tastes nice or anything like that. It's about the way that the wire behaves under heat. That's the issue with it. Now, when you have a stainless steel build, it can be a 0.1. Now, as you heat it up, the resistance will go up. So the more you use it, so if you chain vape with the stainless, the resistance will go up, so the power goes down. So it's just one of these things that just, to me, I like. The only point in stainless is for temperature control mods, like DNAs. If you want to use it in temperature control mode, it blues up nicely. See, yet again, we're getting back to things just looking nice, not actually working nice. I mean, the ramp up on stainless is fucking dog shit.
We've pointed this out a few times recently. We've had private discussions about it. I'm not gonna name some people. Like that's they've taken a picture saying it's this. You're like, that's 100% not that, because you can tell by looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, people were putting up.
That's not nichrome. It's not nichrome.
No.
It's either wrap.
It's either not nichrome or they have actually used Photoshop or whatever. See, for me, N8 in Cantfol is where it's at. I mean, Cantfol for series builds and regulateds and stuff, but always with an N80 wrap. It's one of them things. I noticed a few other companies now are following suit with the Cantfol cores. It's quite funny that they don't actually put that's what they are, but there's only one possible way to get the resistance with the wraps that they're using, and that's that they're using Cantfol cores. For me, stainless was only really a good thing for people that use temperature control. That's it. So if you want to use, for example, replay mode on the DNA-C chips, you can't do that unless you're using a TC wire. Yes, I have. I've seen the platinum wire. I've seen all different types of, only $700 a foot. Yeah, it's ridiculous price. Yeah, I mean, see, Aaron, here's the thing.
Not everybody likes the same thing.
Not everybody likes the same thing, and I could personally bet that you wouldn't be able to tell that it's Cantfall cores and not N80. Nobody can.
No.
Nobody can. I sent out loads of coils to people, first of all, without telling them, and nobody noticed. And when I told them, they were like, that can't be right. And I'm like, 100% it's right. There's a difference between good quality Cantfall and shit quality Cantfall, and the difference is huge. If you use a premium Cantfall like Twisted Messes, for example, the flavour of that is very, very similar to Nichrome. The quality is very, very good. And when you're using it for series or regulated mods, it actually has quite a good place because it brings the resistance up. So you don't have to have a great big massive coil for series. You can have like a 7-wrap 3.5mm alien, and you're only at 0.3.
This is the hybrid alien you're on about.
Yeah.
The Andy has the hybrid alien, which it's not just designed for series mechs. It's designed for series mods. It's designed for
regulated and stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean, it works perfect. They work perfectly on those. So
yeah. Now the reason being that you can have a 5-wrap 3mm and it comes in at 0.2. Right, so it's not going to drain your battery. I mean, if you're using it on a regulated, you're not just draining your battery for no reason. Regulated mods, really, you want to be around 0.2, 0.3. Anything lower than that, really, all you're doing is just wasting your battery. I see a lot of people using coils that are designed for mechs in regulateds, and really, I can't see the point in it. I take it, John. You mean Sandvik?
I want to say SanDisk make vape wire.
Yeah.
The last I knew they'd made memory.
So Sandvik wire is smelted in Sweden, milled in America, which is what Juice Junkie is, and also Kidney Puncher is a Sandvik as well. I'm not sure whether Twisted Messes call theirs Sandvik, not sure, but yeah, any Sandvik wire is good quality. It just is. It's just a good quality wire. The
milling process is actually the key. I mean, obviously the quality of the material itself is key, but the milling process is huge.
Yeah, definitely.
When you look at this sort of goes back to what I know with hi-fi as well. So
guitar strings and speaker wire.
Well, yeah. Well, guitar strings actually. I used to love it. If anyone doesn't know, I used to play a lot of guitar. I used to sell guitars. We used to get guys come in and go, I want this string. Don't have it, but I've got these. I don't want those. I want those. They're made in the same factory.
They're the same.
Guitar string. There's only 3 companies in the world
that
make guitar strings. Doesn't matter which ones you buy. They're one of the 3. So one of them is Rotorsound. So Rotorsound make their own. Rotorsound are based in the UK. Rotorsound's actual main money maker is they make a lot of stuff for the NHS. So they don't just make guitar strings. They make like all the stitching material and stuff like that, and all sorts of shit. The other one is Dario, and I can't remember the other one, but like but most of them. Oh, and Anibal. But most of them are just repackaged from those. Well, all of them are repackaged from those 3. Doesn't matter. DR, anyone like that. They're all just packaged from the same fucking 3. So,
sorry, my dog's making a load of racket.
But it's the same. But it's the same with wire and stuff like that. So, like going back to, the Dario Anibal Rotorsound. Yeah, bang on. But it's. Goes back to the same with speaker cable. So like certain speaker, so the speaker cable company that I trust the most is a company called Cord. They make phenomenal stuff because they even we have their reps on some that we openly admit that we can't buy machines good enough to mill our own cable. So they hire out somewhere that isn't in this country, because they know that's where mills the best cable. And it's like they've done loads of tests. Like the difference is it all looks the same to the naked eye.
It's when you get under a microscope.
You look under a microscope. It's like these other cables. They're all rough and this, that, and the others, and ours is just smooth. It's just, and the difference is huge. Less resistance.
I remember back on the old AV forums, people used to argue the point of just using 10mm twin and earth and saying, look, you know, basic electrical cable is just as good as the bog ad, but it's not. And I used to be like, no, it's not. And they're like, it's all about bandwidth. As long as
it's not. It's really not.
Okay, it's like, really not.
We get people come in the shop and they are like, speaker cable. And I've taken people into the demo room before, same setup, changed the speaker cable, and they've gone, wow, the difference is huge. Cord, again, did a really good test at the Bristol Hi-Fi show.
I'm trying to remember.
They had a system set up, and this will make this. People will go, that can't make a difference, but it can. An amazing system set up, and they said, right, we're going to change one thing on the system, one component. It's not going to be an amp, so they listen to a song, close the curtains, change the component, change these components over, and put it back on. And they said, which one do you prefer? And they said the second one sounded 10 times better. What did you change? Did you change the speaker cable? No. What we did is we changed the power cables. They changed the power cables, like the actual kettle leads going from the power to the unit, and they said the difference it made was huge.
Yeah, it cuts down on all the electrical noise and stuff like that. You get a proper shielded cables,
and just like, how can that make it? People go, how can the way you power it make a difference? It's like, with the cleaner the power, the less
interference.
Yeah, the less interference, the less THD, the less everything. So. And people don't realise how much of a difference it can make. So, and it's the same with vape wire. It's going to be exactly the same.
I'm trying to remember what speaker cable I've actually got now. I've had the same speaker cable for like 20 fucking years. And I've took it from system to system to system because I spent out on it the first time. I mean, I'm trying to remember now what the brand is. I mean, for me, because I'm mainly talking about using on 5.1 systems. So for the front, like the center speaker and your two fronts and the sub, I always made sure that the cables for them were sweet. For the rears, unless you want to listen to quadraphonic set stereo type thing, really you don't need.
We recommend the same at work, but we always recommend you go with the same cable, the same lengths if you can. But obviously, people don't want to spend out for their long runs to the back of the room quite a lot of the time.
No, they don't.
When you're looking at, I need 25 meters of cable to cover my rears, and that cable's £20 a meter. It adds up. Do you know what I mean? So it does.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, like, that's one of them things. I mean, you get a lot of them now, the surrounds, and they've got like wireless rear speakers and stuff. Now seems to be the newer thing. Or people using the Bose speakers as rears as well, which is something that I've seen. I'm not sure.
Your ears are probably your least important speaker in a surround sound setup. But
yeah, they are. But it depends. I mean, like my favourite surround system I ever had the Monitor Audio Bronze, the bipoles.
Yeah, the bipoles, amazing. The BFXs.
Well, I didn't actually have. They're not rears. I had them on the side.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can have them on the side or the back. That's why you do it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Going back to cable, we set in the shop. Our cheapest cable's £1.19 a meter. Our most expensive cable's £150 a meter. Unterminated. Mm-hmm. And we do sell it. So we don't sell it often, but we do sell it.
Yeah, I mean, some people look right. This is when it comes down to money. Money being no object. I see this a lot of the time, right? So people are like, that is a waste of money. And it's like, well, okay, it might be a waste of money to you, but not to everyone.
100%, mate. Cabling is, at the end of the day, it's carrying what you're doing from this
your
end
signal
to that end. Actually, what we say is good cable won't improve your sound. Good cable will let the system work as it should do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it makes total sense. I mean, like, it's one of these things as well. It's the same as an amplifier, you know. People that cheap out on an amp, the amp can have such a difference on the sound, you know, and the same with speakers.
There's two arguments that we often hear with audiophiles, and some audiophiles will argue that your source is everything. So the quality of your source is everything. And you've got the other people that actually your speakers can make a huge difference, but actually it's system balance. It's getting everything right. Because if you get something wrong, it's going to change it.
Yeah, the weakest link in any system is always going to be the thing that makes the difference between the quality and, you know, that's it.
And this comes back to the same with what we're doing.
Yeah, with everything. With everything. I mean, look, right? If you buy a cheap clone mech that's made with cheap dog shit quality material, it's not going to be as conductive as if it's made with high grade materials. All right? So, you know, you've got to take that kind of knowledge and move it across. I want
to know what amp you use, Ryan. I've never seen a 250 watt guitar amp. I used to sell bass amps. I've seen lots because bass requires more power. So when I used to play,
250 watts is a lot for a guitar amp, man.
With tube power, it's huge.
Yeah.
My old bass amp, I used to have an Ampeg SVT Classic, the 1970s based one. That was 400 watts of tube power. That thing used to weigh fucking 8 stone. Just the fucking head.
That's absolutely crazy.
So, yeah, and then I used to have my fucking big 8x10 cab as well, which weighed about the same. And the guys used to fucking hate me in the band because you can carry it, Josh. Is that fine? I'll carry it. It's fine. And most of the time I was like, fuck, am I taking that? I'll just take a smaller amp.
I mean, it comes back to everything. If you build something out of shit, it's going to be shit. I mean, I don't care like what people say. If you know what I mean. If you build something out of shit, then you can't get a silk purse from a sow's ear, right? It's an old saying my nan used to say, and it's true. It's 100% true. You know, it's just not going to happen.
I was going to say, Chris, I could tell you're not an audio file because you spelt it wrong. It's PH.
Blind autocorrect.
Yeah,
it's PH, not S.
It's PH. It's basically paedophile, but with audio instead of pedo in the front of it. But you know.
But anyway, we'll get off stereos because you know not everyone's interested. Actually, it seems like quite a lot of the guys in the chat. Maybe we'll just start a separate fucking audio file chat, Andy.
Yeah, and one where I can go on about AMD being a bag of shit.
Yeah,
in like computing stuff.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of AMD, are you?
I don't mind, right? Do you know what, right? It's the same as anything, right? Whatever's the best at the time, right? I'll buy it. Yeah. The point was that when I built my system, I bought the best value chip, and even now with the new generation of like the 10th gen of Intel chips that have come out, my chip's still as good as the best out of them. You know, it's only just a little bit behind the 10900K. So it's one of them things, like if there would have been at the time a better AMD processor for my needs, I would have bought it, but there wasn't. And now the whole thing of AMD being best value for money has gone out of the window because their new chips are more expensive than Intel's. So everything's kind of changing, and you know, it's one of them things. Now AMD have got the following that they have. They're jacking the prices up.
Classic business.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, they like, right, okay. They could not charge the same money for their chips as Intel did because they weren't as good. And that's the actual point of it. Now they are as good, slightly better for a little while, that they're actually going to charge that money and people will buy it. And it's just one of them things you see in any industry. It's like in the computing industry, you've got Team Red, which is AMD, and you've got Team Blue, which is Intel. And you go on any of the PC gaming groups, and all you'll see is fanboys of one or the other. And I see this in vaping. So much. Like, I make jokes about Purge and stuff like that. I used to use Purge mods all the time. It's just, like, for me, it's just a joke. Like, you know, I don't really take that shit seriously now. Some people, they're like, it's like life or death to them. Like, it's like they're talking about religions or something, you know? And I'm like, fuck me.
I'll say this really, like, so people understand now that I'll be completely unbiased with it, because obviously people think I'll be biased with Immortal mods because I'm on Team. I actually left Team the other day.
Yeah.
I'm still going to use the products, and I'll still always use their products because
do you know what?
They're all family to me. Do you know what I mean? Like Ariel's one of the fucking nicest guys you'll ever fucking meet, but for me at the minute, team just wasn't what I needed. So, but I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna go out and buy a fucking purge mod because I can use it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna go and sell all your immortal stuff and buy out on purge stuff.
For some reason, I'm not showing up in our little chat bit, but Ryan has asked when's the next fucking expo gonna be, man? I'm fucking rattling now. So he wants to know when the next expo is.
It's supposed to be end of October, but things are working slightly slow behind the scenes. I do have this week off. I'm in work again tomorrow because I was off last Monday. So Tuesday I've got to go and fit my sister's new oven and fix her fence and be a general handyman. But then I've got Wednesday, sort of Thursday, Friday, Saturday to sort some stuff out. So hopefully I can get a list and start planning it. It might be slightly later than planned. It's supposed to be end of October, but there will be one this year, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not gonna lie and say it'll be October because at the minute all of us have got different shit on our plates at the minute.
Yeah.
You know, we are. People just think 2-hour show and we chat shit, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. It doesn't always seem that way, especially with trying to do something like the virtual expo. It's a big ask.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of hours to put together and organise.
A big ask when it's not what you do for a living. Do you know what I mean? If I was sat here and that's what I did for a job, day in, day out, I'd have it knocked out in 2 days. Do you know what I mean? That'd be fine. But the fact is, it's not, you know, and we've all got different contacts, so we have to ask these people, come back, then we have to go back with times, this, that, and the other. It's actually a really huge undertaking. Last time, I think I spent a solid week at my computer fucking organising shit and sorting stuff out, so just every night after work here from like 7 till like 2 in the morning, working out time schedules and this, that, and the other, and then people coming back going, I can't do this, can't do that, so fucking moving shit around, it's a right pain. It was worth it in the end. I'm glad you guys enjoy it, and I'm glad you're asking for another one. You'll definitely get another one, 100%. The original planned date was the last weekend in October. I don't know if I'm quite going to make that deadline, but definitely at some point this year, 100% we'll get one out. I promise. I pinky promise all of you. I pinky through the camera.
Yeah. Sean too. PS4 or Xbox? Personally, either. I've got both Xbox One and PS4. I'm no major PS is better, Xbox is better, blah blah. It's just just personal preference kind of thing. If it was down to physical computing powers between the two and there's a massive difference, then obviously I'd understand, but they're pretty much basically the same.
No, they're not. Okay.
PC Master Race.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I've only just started playing PC games, and I mean, literally the last 2 weeks.
Cheers, Ryan.
I heard it was a lot quicker than that.
I mean, okay, the only issue that I've got with Xbox is the way that they're made. Unfortunately, they're not made to last. The Xbox 360, like the issues that they had with the first, like
the whole
in the
Red
first
Ring of Death, man.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like there was that. It's not just that either. There's pros and cons for both.
And you said they're not built to last.
Yeah, but how much have you had? Yeah, but what have you done to that to make? Yeah, but you fixed that. You put more thermal paste in
nothing.
it. Well, you haven't changed any thermal paste or nothing.
I've only changed thermal paste, but that was like what?
Right,
okay. About 20 years old. You have a 20-year-old PC, you're gonna do it at that point, kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
The only thing I've done is modify things to it.
Right. Okay.
I've got a fat silver PS2 that works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Never opened it up to fix it. I've got
so Chris,
Slim 360s. Never had an issue.
Mate, right? I know people that have never tripped over a curb. It doesn't mean that people don't do it. Okay?
Oh, no,
no, right, look, right? It's a well known and proven fact that all of the Xbox ranges have all had serious issues with them. Like literally, they've all had hardware issues. I mean, the cold soldering issues with the Xbox 360.
The Fat 360 that had a lot of issues with the red ring of death due to, if I remember right, the thermal paste or something like that.
No, it was cold soldering, mate. It wasn't the
I wasn't really too
paste.
sure because I didn't actually have one at that point. I was still playing on the original 360, the original Xbox, up until the Slim came out.
There you go, John. Exactly, 100%. John Best just said there, my original Xbox was so well made and working, but the newer Xbox 360 and Xbox One were not made to last. And they weren't. But they really weren't made to last. Now, the Xbox 360 had fucking loads of issues with it. Same, John. I went through loads of Xbox 360s.
I'm not a big console gamer. I had an Xbox 360 Elite when they came out, but I didn't ask for that. Basically, I went to, this is before I worked in that TV retail side, and one of my best friends worked at Curry's, and he basically blagged me a deal when I bought my TV that I got a free Xbox 360 Elite and Skate 2. So I was like, fucking sweet, cool, I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? Great, awesome. And it got used about 50 times, and then I sold it.
A lot of people don't know this, but like at one point, Microsoft, they weren't even going to bother bringing out a console this generation. They weren't going to do it. They lost out so much against PlayStation with the last generation. I mean, literally, you can say, okay, the PlayStation was released in more countries and stuff like that, but even in the countries it was released, it outsold them. And what a lot of people preferred, though, was they wanted the Xbox One for backwards compatibility so that they could play Xbox 360 games on it. So that was one of the things, and that's one of the things that pissed people off about the PS4 was that there was no backwards compatibility like that. So, there's points for and against.
There is backwards compatibility to a certain degree, but
there wasn't when they came out.
The game again as a digital download.
Yeah, right.
You can't just whack the original discs in.
But that's not backwards compatibility, though. That's just an update.
That's what I said, to a degree kind of thing. You're still playing.
Yeah, no, backwards compatibility. No, backwards compatibility. What people want and what people mean by backwards compatibility is that you can get a disc, stick it in, and play it on there, and you can play it on there. Now, PS3 had backwards compatibility to PS2. Now,
only the certain PS3s only had them. I think it was the up to SP certain range of them, but then after a certain model range, like in the SP range, that stopped, and then there was dashboard updates which stopped it as well. From what I have been reading on the forums with the PS3.
Well, they might have stopped. They might have stopped supporting. Right. Okay. So they might have stopped supporting. PS3 is a completely outdated console now, anyway. So them stopping support for stuff like that. That's just one of them things that happens. All companies do that in the end. Is they stop support. Even watch companies, like you can buy a £2,000 watch, and they will only repair and fix that watch and service it for 20 years, and then they won't carry any parts for it or anything. And that's just the way it goes. You can't expect companies to carry on when they've brought out generations later, and we're talking almost 2 generations on. So it's one of them things. It's like with everything. The original PlayStation 3, when it came out, there was only like 5 games available for it. I had all of them, and I was going into game. And I was trading them back in for old PS2 games to play on the PS3. And at that point, I sold my PS3 and got an Xbox 360 again because there was fucking loads of games out on it. So that was the main reason that I went back. But then, after a while, I went back to PS3. And then when, about 4 or 5 years ago, I got a PS4. And I don't really play it. Like, it just sits there. It's in the front room for if the kids, if they want to play on it or whatever. I don't really play. These days, I game on my PC, which for me is just a better experience all round, really.
It's a game down to the same thing with mods. It's down to a personal preference.
Yeah.
There are people out there that love and swear by smock. And then there's people out there that call it complete and utter dog shit. It's the same with cars, same with clothing, same with everything. There are people out there that will...
But a lot of people say stuff like that, though, Chris, to sound cool or sound like they know what they're talking about and stuff.
Yeah.
And I see this a lot, and I see this in vape groups and stuff, and that's people repeating back bad information, and they're repeating it back parrot fashion because somebody who they think is knowledgeable said it. So then it gets regurgitated across all the different vape groups and stuff. And it's only when you come across a tosser like me who says, no, actually, you're fucking wrong, and actually points it out and says, no, that's not actually correct. And, you know, but that's not how it is with everyone. A lot of people, they regurgitate bad info. I see this all the time in vape groups. Bad info. People still like talking about pairing up batteries to mods and stuff like that, which you haven't needed to do for like 4 years. I mean, if you even needed to do it then. I mean, who pairs batteries to mods these days? Do you do it, Josh?
No.
You do it, Chris?
Anybody? I sort of do within a way, but that's mostly down to a fitment shit.
When I first started, 100%, I had specific pairs of batteries for regulated mods that went in there that were always together, married. You know, but it makes me laugh still. Like if I fire up my Asmodus and it's like, oh, these batteries are married pair, and you have to hit yes or no.
Yeah, I mean, like that goes back to when people were using torch batteries and batteries that had been harvested from whatever fucking battery packs and stuff. And what they were doing was, because each batch might have been different, the chemical makeup inside them wasn't consistent. So if you were going to use 2 batteries, you wanted them to be from the same batch, so they had the same exact makeup. Now batteries are a lot more consistent, you know, so it's just not needed anymore. It's just really not needed. But you still get people that have got this mindset of, no, if I don't use married batteries, paired batteries with this mod, it's going to blow up like a hand grenade. And they call that Ohm's law, but they know Ohm's law because of this. Ohm's law and battery safety are 2 different things. Ohm's law is quite a complex scientific calculation that most people don't get. You know, they just don't really actually understand it. But they say that they do. But really what they're talking about is they know battery safety. They don't actually know what the calculations are and what difference it actually makes to anything. And I've said this before. You don't need to know Ohm's law. You don't. You need to know battery safety. And by that, I mean, you need to know if you're vaping in a regulated mod, you can use these batteries and these batteries because of the amp rate and this and that and the other. And the same with mech mods. If you always say to yourself, right, okay, I'm using 21700s, I'm going to use a monocell P42A, and I'm not going to go below 0.08, you're never going to really get into any trouble there. You're going to be pretty safe. So as long as you stick to that, that's battery safety. Yeah? You don't use torn wraps. You make sure your batteries are clean. The contacts are in good condition. The same with your mod. You make sure that the threads are clean. You make sure that the 510's nice and clean. You know, on a regulated, like that kind of stuff is just basic
knowledge.
Yeah, it's just basic. It's like getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth. You know, it's just something you should do. I mean, not all people do it, but it's something really that you should do. Now, I see a lot of elitism where people are like, you don't know your Ohm's law and stuff like that on vape groups, and you shouldn't even be vaping. You're the reason why vaping gets a bad name because you're using these terrible batteries. And do you know what? That does no good.
No. So scorn them, educate them.
Yeah, like literally, like that kind of stuff there, like elitism. I see it loads, and people, it's like they're trolling through the vape groups, waiting for a chance to be right about something. Yeah, and it's like at any instance they want to be able to say, "I know more than you," and that's basically what it is. Everybody wants to be an expert, you know.
They want to blow smoke up their own arse.
Yeah, but it's something that I see all the time in vape groups. I see the same bullshit regurgitated over and over and over again. I mean, like, look, even outside of vape groups, people still talk about popcorn lung. Like, is it even a thing? I mean, like, you know, and I'm like, and they're sat there smoking a cigarette and they're telling me about popcorn lung. And I'm just like, okay, you know, like, fuck off, basically, because it's just, you know, there we go. Look, I used to be very regimental on 30Q for regs and BTC5A for mechs. Yeah, that's fine. I used to use BTC5As for everything. Back, say, 4 years ago, I used to use BTC5As in regs. I used to use BTC5As in mechs. That's all the batteries that I used to own was BTC5As. So, and then when Better Cells came out, I moved on from BTC5As, what with 2650s, which are still one of my favourite cells. I don't care what anybody else's personal opinion is, but for me, they are...
I think the 21700s are a great thing in mech mods, personally.
Well, those Sanyos were fucking awesome back in the day.
Right. The problem that I've got with 21700s is the size of them. That's my only issue that I've got for them, is the size of them. Now, you could get a 2650, and it's 5 mil shorter. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking about a mod that's, you know, possibly got 100 mil height, it actually makes a lot of difference. Now, with the original grip, it came out at a time where 2700s and 21700s weren't mainstream. 2650s had just started becoming mainstream. So when you actually put a 2700 or 21700 in a grip, it looks really tall and you can see the threads. And so I use 2650s still in my grips, because even though it does take a yeah, look, you can see like all the threads.
So when it's in like 21700 mode, it's like that. It's a tall beast.
Yeah.
When it's in like 26650 mode, it's like all
2650
the way down here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and it makes difference. And I will argue that there's not that much difference, real time difference. You're going to notice using a 2650 to a 21700. It's literally, again, comes down to the point, if you comp, then yeah, maybe you might get a bit more out of the 30Q or whatever. But the 2650s, for me, they were just like a beefed up 18650, you know. Look at, and that was all that got me away from the VTC 5As. If I'm honest with you, that was the first thing that got me away from them. Was the Odin from Immortal that took 2650s, and then the grip, the Half Moon Squonk that took 2650s, the Armageddon V3 Squonks, they take 2650s. So I have quite a few mods, the 25, the Odin, Stack. I had quite a few mods that the biggest cell that it would take was a 2650, and I still use them. I've still got a load of the Sanyos that I kept for myself. I've still got some of the original LG. I think it was HB6s was the 2650s, but they were only available for a little while, and then they stopped. Have Molly Cell brought out a 2650 yet? I don't think they have,
I don't think they have.
No, I don't.
I'd love to see
18650, 20700, 21700 only, I think.
I would love to see a Molicel 2650, and I think they'd be quite a popular cell, to be honest. I think that a lot of people would actually use them. But
I've only ever used like 18650 mech mods and a few 21700s. Obviously, like my OP and my hacker, they're both 21s. So it's like one of those things. I skipped that gap in between, like going from 18650s, 2600s, and all that lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of mods that you, like the hacker, for example, you can adjust that and you can use 2650 in it, the same as you can with a lot of like the Immortal 2700 mods. And you know, it's one of them things that's, you know, some companies, for example, I'll go back to Immortal again. They've got a 5mm puck, so that you can actually just chuck a 5mm puck inside, and then it makes it the right size for a 2650. I mean, it's Ariel's favourite cell. Ariel loves 2650. So the majority of his mods have got that compatibility as well as the 21700 because he's not that one-eyed that he can see that he
understands the fact that people have different tastes for everything. Like, as I said, 21700s are mine. You've already said you like the 26.
I don't dislike 20. See, this is the thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your preference, if you could choose between the two, you naturally would want to go for 26 over the 21 kind of thing. But, like me, I'd naturally want to go for the 21.
Yeah, I mean, the 26. Yeah, I mean, it's one of them things that I suppose it just depends on what's actually available to you and what mods you've got and stuff like that. Because the 2650s, I found they hit really well. I mean, I wasn't that convinced of them. I remember at the expo, somebody said about them, and I was like, fuck off. I've got my VCC 5As here, and I was using my brand new grip. I was vaping on it, and I was thinking it was fucking awesome. And Danny Holloway borrowed a cell off Pat Murphy. Pat had some 2650s, and I heard the difference in the noise that Danny's grip was making compared to the 18650, the VTC 5As, and the LG one, and it was like a rattlesnake. It was really, it was a big difference. And, you know, it was one of them things, with the grip being a very, very hard-hitting mod as well, you actually noticed it, you know, because some mods, you won't notice it.
No.
Because voltage drop kind of negates that anyway. So it's just one of them... It's just one of them things that some people will prefer what they used to. I know some people now that still only use 2650s, 18650s. I know loads of people that do. They're like, no, I don't like. I had this argument, not an argument, rather a bit of a debate with a guy, and he was convinced that because an 18650 actually has a lower natural resistance than a 21700, the 18650s hit harder than the 21700. And he was like saying, no, Samsung 20S hits harder than any 21700 because it's got a lower internal resistance. And it's like, yeah, but when you actually do a voltage drop test, you can't see that. Like,
be interesting to see what sort like the viewers like. Do they prefer an 18650, 26 or 21? It would be quite interesting to know that as well.
Just so you know, I've just been onto Molicell's website. That's what I was doing. No, Molicell do not make a 2650.
No, they don't. I didn't think they did, because if I'd have seen them, I'd have bought.
You would have had them.
For actually batteries, like all they do is an 18650. When you read their website, they're like, yeah, 18650, 21700. They obviously do a 2700 as well. So I've got some, but that's all they use.
Nick has said he likes to use 18650s and 21700s.
But is that low, Nick? Is that because some of the I know that you love the Sub-Ohm Innovation mods, right?
Yeah.
So they only take an 18650. If they took a 21700, would you use that in them rather than the 18650? That's
some of those soy mods would hit crazily well with 21 in it, wouldn't they?
Oh god, they do, yeah.
Mods, man. Yeah,
they are really, really, really good mods.
Stick a couple of Molicels in that, I reckon they do. It does it great.
It's the same soy aren't still around, man.
Yeah, I mean, like it really is. I mean, I've got to say, I wasn't that impressed with their RDAs. I didn't think the RDAs were that great. I like the idea of the real hybrid. So you could actually literally just bolt the RDA straight on top of the battery.
That's something I actually have always quite liked. Use a hybrid over a standard make mod.
That was in the Soy X, wasn't it?
Right, see, there you go.
Shorty had it as well.
Yeah, like Nick's just said there, look, you know, exactly that, bud. If I could put a 21 in it, I would. And this is why I always say, you know, a lot of it is just people's personal circumstances. It just depends on what mods they've got.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends on what mods they've got, what they want to use is based around that. I mean, you're not going to find anybody that's got 18650 only mods stocking up on 21700s. I mean, it only stands to reason, like, you know, but...
Yeah, it's like the first introduction to stack mods and 26650s was a friend of mine. I think it was my first expo I went to, and he bought himself a dirty stack. And it was like, fuck. compared to what I was using at the time, which were like regulated iJoys. I had Valhalla mech mod that had cost me like 30 quid. Really beautiful looking, but it just didn't really hit very hard. But he's also down to the batteries and the cores.
Like the AIV Blood Axe, which was a British.
No, it wasn't. It was,
I said that's like the AIV, mate. This, like I said, it's like that, where it looked amazing, but it didn't hit very hard.
Yeah, it hit like shit.
Like they looked really nice. Yeah,
with an RDA. My first ever mech mod. It was my introduction to that kind of thing, so I wasn't really going to moan too much. But yeah, then I saw the 26650 stacked dirty, and I was like, I gotta get one. I've never bought one since, but
26650s. I haven't got a lot of use for them.
When the dirtier came out, I was like, you've made the wrong battery choice there.
Yeah, I mean, like even the Purge Executioner, which is a 26650 stack, only like you don't really see loads of people with them. Big Boss from Vapers Cloud, I had one that I sold to Vinny, and that is a stack, series. Side by side though, 26650. Now the problem with the 26650s are not really a lot of them.
Not a lot of mods use them.
No, it's not. The reason that a lot of mods don't use them or don't accept them is because there's none out there really with a high enough amperage to use safely. Like they always said with the Big Boss, stay around 0.4, 0.35, 0.4 because you're using 26650s. Whereas the 26650s, they were 30 amp continuous. They were decent,
Did you use the Sanyo ones, the Panasonic Sanyo ones, the red ones?
I've got about 20 of the red ones that I use myself. I use them in my hammer.
They're hard to get, bro. I remember.
Yeah, that's when Fogstar had them. I bought a load.
When I sold them.
Sean says he used
a few years ago.
To use his 26650s in his VT75.
Yeah, I mean, there's some mods that do take them. I mean, Jay Hayes' his mod that he did with Rebel is a single 26650. Vicious Ant, for example, because for a while out in the Philippines, the only cells that they were really getting was 18650s and 26650s. So they were bringing out primos and stuff that were 26650s and that, and people were like, "What the fuck? Like nobody uses these cells really." And then over the last sort of year and a half, they've started making mods that take 21700s and stuff, so which is an improvement. But the 26650 is, out of choice. If you should put it this way, if I had the choice of two mods and one was 26650 and one was 18650, I'd go for the 18650 over the 26 because the 26 are massive, absolutely huge.
And you can still go and buy a decent battery for it.
Yeah, I know. I know. No matter what, there's always going to be decent 18650s about.
The biggest mod I ever actually did use was a quad 26650 dirty stack, customized. It's a big fuck off blue. It was custom blue sprayed.
Yeah,
I think was that
Brian.
Brian,
the owner. Yeah, I know. Everyone's seen him with that.
That was the biggest one I ever got to use.
Yeah, he's vaping a 1.5 ohm build on it, though.
Something like that. Yeah, it was pretty high up.
Yeah, but that only works out about the same as using a 0.12 build on a single 18650. So because you dropped out, you've gone down so far. Because if you went up if you went for a really low build on that, it would have it would have just been too much for him. I mean, that thing there looked like a big metal baseball bat to me. It was just massive. It was just absolutely
That's sort
huge.
Of something I quite like. I do like big mods, just naturally.
Yeah, but it's not like that. There's not a practical mod.
I agree there. That the quad stack that big, no.
Find a charger that will charge 4 of them cells at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think you would.
Do you know what I mean? it's one of them things.
I hardly go any 2-bay chargers like that X-Star we was talking about the other day with fit.
My charger would do it. The GF Falcon would do it, but it's a different kind of charger. So
yeah, I mean,
maybe my Nightcore i8, but obviously you'd have 2 aside.
Yeah, my X-Star VC4 and Queen Ant, I could do 26 650s in the outside bays. I can do them in them, but not on the inner ones. So I can only charge 2 of them at a time on them. But as we were saying about chargers the other day, I use the 2-bay X-Star. People are like you, Chris. You were like, I want to charge more batteries. It's like, well, yeah, if they're charging at that stupidly slow rate, then yeah, you will need to want to charge more. But literally, I mean, Josh, you remember using it at Expo. Yeah. It's literally, you put the cells in it and they're fucking charged. Like, you turn around and it's lit up green and they're done. It's,
it was great at Expo.
Well, the thing I like about it...
And then I put my 8-bay charger...
From the USB sockets on the side of it. So you're not taking up loads of plugs either. So you've literally got... Because it's got an external power pack, which a lot of battery chargers don't have. They've got just a cable that connects the power to them. Because
the 8-bay I've got now is an external power pack. It's a proper big...
Yeah, they need... To be able to get that amount of solid power, it needs to have an external power pack. Otherwise, it's just not going to be able to. Now, the Over 4 Slim does 4.1 amps from both bays. Neither gets affected by the other. So it's like with other chargers, you put one battery in, it'll charge at 2 amp or 3 amp, and then you put another battery in and it'll charge at 1.5 amp or 1 amp. Then you put more batteries in and it divides it down again and again and again. And it's like, now, Nick, with your VC4, because I've actually got a VC4, it's on the floor here somewhere. Now, with that, it changes when you actually... When you put batteries on the inside, it changes. So if they're on the outside and there's nothing on the middle bays, it will charge the outside cells at a higher rate. Anything that you put in the middle cells, it deducts it down off the others. And when you actually look at it, it's charging them at like 1/4 amp a cell on some of them, and it's really slow. Don't get me wrong, it's great for battery life, but the Slim Over 4, all of these chargers now, they're IntelliChargers, so they actually repair any damage to cells and stuff like that. And if you put it in and it does a read of the cell and it needs trickle charging, then it will trickle charge it. You can't override the trickle charge. You can't override it, So it's one of them things. That's what I mean. It's the same with the 8 bays, Nick.
Yeah.
And
looking at this one.
The more you put in, it divides it down each time. It's only got a certain amount of amps going through it.
Yeah. Apparently on this one, 4 batteries, the 4 batteries, it goes 0.75. Or at 8 batteries, it goes down to 0.5 of an amp.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 8 batteries in mine now.
Yeah.
But if it's charging 1 battery, it can put in 1 amp. 2 batteries, 1.5 amps at 1 battery, or 1 amp if it's 2 batteries.
Mine's doing 8 batteries right now, and it's doing 1 amp per battery.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good charger, so.
Yeah, this is the thing. That's a high-end charger. Like the Over Slim, it's not a cheap. The 4 Over, it's not a cheap charger.
They're 50, 60 quid. Do you know what I mean?
They're not. But what I will say, I keep dropping signal on my screen. I don't know what's going on.
Well, we can hear the Phantom Wanker coming through.
We're going to wrap up in a minute anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, something's going.
We came on and said we'll do an hour, and we've been 2.
Yeah.
That's what it was. There we go. There it goes, back now. Yeah, I know what it was. It's just keeps doing it. Anyway, carry on, Josh.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was just saying it was those GF Falcons are really good chargers. If you want something that's going to do a lot of batteries with a I mean, I can actually, so I can put one in, and I can just adjust the ampage I want. I can click a couple of buttons, and go, I want more ampage, or do you know what I mean? So, they're awesome chargers.
Yeah, that's the same. The over 4, it's got a button at the bottom of the 2 base. So you can change. You can change it down. You can drop it down or move it up.
40 quid on Fogstar at the moment. Go grab one. One of the best investments.
For which?
For the sheer Falcon.
Sheer Falcon. Ooh, oh, look at that. I'll see if it reaches. Is that because of Fogstar Friday though, Nick?
No,
my wife just bought me up some ice cream.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, ice cream. Where's all of ours?
Oh. Some ice cream if you want to drive down from Tipton. I don't know if it'll reach because it's got the power pack, so you can't see it. The power pack's behind, but yes, it's the Deer Falcon AII-88 or A288 or whatever the fuck it is. But they're good. They're really good.
I'm just looking now. Yeah, the over 4. That's what I think because I don't think they sell the Deer Falcon $64.99.
Yeah, I was going to say I bought mine from Fogstar, so.
Yeah, a lot of people are put off by the over 4 because it's only a 2 bay. But like I say, it's kind of flawed logic because it charges them so much faster than the others that it kind of becomes.
But that's the thing. I've got so many batteries. I don't need to charge them quick. Like, because I can just. I've got 8 in, they charge, and then I've got another 8 in, and they charge.
Yeah, they're currently sold out to that Deer Falcon as well.
Yeah, it's a fucking good charger there.
Right now, my reasoning for the over 4 was that I can always plug in my VC4 and my Queen Anne into the 2 amp sockets, the USB ports that come off the side of it. If I need more bays, I've got more bays if I need them. But for traveling and stuff like that, the over 4 is fucking brilliant because it's very small. So you can just lob it in your bag. I don't know. When you go to Expo, what's the main thing when you go in your hotel room that's a fucking nightmare is there's not enough sockets for everyone to plug all their chargers and shit in. So it's like literally you end up going around unplugging all the lamps and everything so you can plug your chargers in and stuff. But with that, I can actually have my charger in one plug with the batteries charging in it. I can have my 4-bay VC4 off that, charging another 4 cells, and I can have my phone or laptop or whatever plugged in to the other USB, charging that. So really,
for me, I've never had that problem ever.
What's that? Oh yeah, we don't go to stay in hotels.
When there's 3 of you staying in a hotel room at Expo, and you've got
and what you're doing as well is you're taking out enough batteries to last you the whole day. Because once you go from, once you go from the hotel into the actual, you don't want to go back.
No,
you don't want to be going backwards and forwards, like to get new cells and stuff like that. I mean, it was great Fogstar doing the. Last year in May, we're doing pre-charge cells.
Yeah.
So you can go up.
I remember them doing that.
Yeah, you can go up and just buy like full cells they've already charged.
It was like an extra quid for a pre-charge cell, which is great. Just
yeah.
Do you want pre-charge? Yeah, great. Sling it straight over on. Fucking awesome. You know,
I mean, says he's got the X-Star Queen Anne.
Yeah, I've got one of the. I've got the Queen Anne and the VC4 now. The beauty of the VC4, which hasn't got the USB cable in it, where is it? Is it this one? No. Yeah, so this DC input there, change it, like that goes to a USB. So you could take a portable charger. This one's, I think, 25.
I had a VC4 and it died.
Yeah, I've had this for fucking years, mate. And don't get me wrong, it's seen better days. Like, I'll be honest, it's been kicked around the floor for the last year. But it served its purpose well at the time. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, so basically you can take a portable charger, portable power pack, and you can plug one of these chargers into that, and away you go. So, there's pros and cons for all different types of chargers, and what suits one person might not suit another, like everything, $6, $39.99 on Fogstar. That's an absolute bargain. If you grab that on Friday,
yeah, it'd be about £32.
Yeah, it'd be a bit less than that.
Yeah,
a bit more than that.
You just round it up.
15. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna get a good deal on that. Like, and that's a charger there. I've had mine now 2 years, I think, since they came out, and it's never let me down. And it lives on the floor in my front room.
So mine will probably last me forever then, because I live on mine lives on the kitchen counter, and my i8 lives just like behind this cupboard.
I don't think it makes any difference. It lives on the floor at night. It's just a battery charger, mate.
I'm just thinking less chance of it being kicked about.
Like, literally, like this thing here, right, has been chucked around and knocked down and knocked up. This is why I leave them on the floor. Right. If somebody knocks over my charger with cells in it, and they end up, bear in mind, all of my house is hard floors, either slate or hardwood, right? So if any cells drop on my floor, even from that far away, they need rewrapping. Okay? So if it's up on the side in the kitchen and one of the kids knocks it off, that's all the cells wrecked. And how much more damage is it going to do it falling down off the kitchen side onto the solid slate floor than it does if somebody just knocks it with their foot walking past? For me, it's but everybody's situation's different. Everybody's situation is different, So like, it's one of them things that for me, I just leave it in a place just out the way. It's easy for me to get to it though. So literally, it's like I said to you before, I end up using the same cells all the time. Same sort of like 4-6 cells. I use them, put it in that charger, and then by the time I start noticing voltage drop again on the mod I'm using, I look down and they're ready to go. So just unscrew, chuck the next one in, put that one in the charger, and it's just a rinse and repeat cycle, just round and round and round. Yeah, mine started acting all weird towards the end. I'll be honest, Nick, it did start acting up a little bit, but one of the good things about the VC4 is it actually charges standard rechargeable batteries as well, not just lithium ion. It charges, is it the NIMMAL or whatever they're called? It charges.
Pretty much all chargers do that as standard this day and age.
No, they don't.
Cool ones, it'll do that.
Also, the night calls do.
Yeah, some do. Some like not all of them do though, mate. Honestly, not all of them do. Some do, some don't. Like the Nightcore VC4 is a 5-year-old charger, 4-year-old charger, mate. So like, So around about the same age as these did it. They did it. I'm not 100% sure whether the Over 4 does. I don't think it does actually. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it charges the other. Let's have a look.
Because I started off with the Nightcore i4, which I'd won in a competition with a bunch of 25Rs, Smock Alien, an iJoy Max Quad Max something, a couple of tanks and some juice. I was up in Crewe seeing a friend play in his band, walked outside, and my iJoy just started spilling out of smoke, and it wasn't coming from the tank. It was coming from the battery bay, so I quickly just ripped the battery door off, threw the batteries, bought another set of batteries from a shop down the road. They then vented in the actual charger, the i4 charger, which obviously did its job and stopped them from venting anymore, and by sacrificing itself. So I just went and bought myself the D4, and I've been using it ever since. So
I'm just looking
5 years or so.
Yeah. I mean,
it's never let me down. It's charged them. It's just starting to show its age now. There's times when I put a couple of batteries in, and it's just saying like certain 2 of them aren't charging, but the other 2 are. And it's normally the outside 2 are charging, but the inside 2 aren't, or the far right 2 aren't charging, but the far left 2 are. So it's just like, I'll just get a new one.
I'm just looking at the specs on there. It says that it does 1044, 14500, 14650, 16340. So it does all these bizarre like size cells right the way up to 26 650s. It does lithium ion, IMR, INR, ICR, and NCR, but that's not the NIM.
Not the nickel.
Yeah, it's not the NIMA. So I think they're alkali. Is they alkaline batteries, the standard rechargeable ones, rather than lithium ion? They're an alkaline, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. But it's one of them things. I don't
know that lot about chemistry in the batteries.
I've got a dedicated charger for charging them type of batteries. So I just use that now because it's easier and quicker, and it actually charges them a lot better. But so I've got a dedicated one for them because I use them in my off-camera flashes and stuff for my photography and that. So it's one of them things that, again, taking forever to charge in them chargers. It's just taking forever. I've just looked, Nick. I actually sold out on Fogstar, the Over 4. And that's the black one as well. Mine's a white one, which I'm not sure whether they do them anymore, the white ones.
I did, when I was looking the other day, I did see some white ones. Not getting right, but it's just a Google job, so probably eBay. So I wouldn't really trust them that much. It is for eBay.
I don't know, mate. A lot of the bigger names and stuff, they sell stuff on eBay. They have like eBay sites. I mean, they've got the cheaper one there, the X-Star SV2 Rocket, which is a 2 times 2 amp, which is still decent. 2 amp charge rate's pretty good. And then the other ones are like 1 times 4.1, 2 times 2 amp.
Over 4 Slim.
Huh?
It's the Over 4 Slim.
Yeah, that's what one it is. Yeah, the Over 4 Slim. But they're sold out on X-Star. And the one they've got on there's the black one as well. Which my one was the white one, which they've got the actual video there, which share. Nope, go away. Copy. Here you go. I'm going to post that link to the video in the actual chat.
Okay.
Just say people.
Anyway.
Yeah,
I think Josh is getting ready for bed because he looks like he's falling asleep.
I am tired. I'm very tired.
We've overrun by nearly 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh. Well, should we wrap it up then, guys?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Right, guys, everybody that's still in the chat and makes it to the end of the show, fucking awesome.
Nice going, guys.
It's always good.
Thanks for joining us as always.
Yeah, and we'll see you around
very soon.
See you next week.
We will
see you next week. Ta-ra, Rabbit.
Cheers, everyone.
Where the fuck's everything?
Ta-ra.
Bye.
You turned into Vinny.